You never really know when your life is about to change. Sometimes it's a slow build-up. Other times it's one moment, one choice, one act. This is the story of a 17-year-old black girl from the south side of Chicago, a girl named Tasha Bryant. She was just walking home from work, tired, hungry, and a little stressed about her next exam, when she saw a man on the sidewalk struggling to breathe. She didn't know who he was. She didn't care how much money he had. All she knew was that if she didn't help him, he might not survive the next few minutes. She saved his life, and in return, he changed hers forever. Tasha Bryant was 17 years old, working part-time at a grocery store on the south side of Chicago. She wasn't famous. She wasn't rich. In fact, most days, she felt invisible. Her life was a routine: school, job, home, repeat. Her dreams of going to college were big, but her family's bank account was small. Every dollar mattered, and every evening, she made the same walk home from work, earbuds in, hoodie up, mind on tomorrow's homework or the next scholarship deadline. It was late, past 9 p.m., when everything changed. Tasha was halfway down a quiet block when she noticed a man leaning against a black SUV. At first, she thought he might have been drunk, or maybe just on the phone. But as she got closer, something felt off. He wasn't standing. He was slumped. His chest was heaving. He looked panicked. Scared, she paused, looked around. There was no one else nearby. The shops were closed. No cars were driving past. Just her and this man who looked like he was gasping for air. "Sir?" she called out. No response. Just wheezing. Shallow, rapid breaths. His hands were shaking, clawing at his coat pocket, then the ground. Tasha stepped closer and saw something just inches from his hand. An inhaler. That's when she realized what was happening. He was having an asthma attack. A bad one. She didn't hesitate. She dropped her bag, grabbed the inhaler, and crouched next to him. "Here, take this," she said, pressing it into his hand. But his fingers couldn't hold it. He fumbled it once, then twice. So she did what she had to do. She held it for him, shook it, placed it against his mouth. "Breathe," she told him. "I got you. Just breathe." One spray. A pause. Another spray. Seconds passed. His breathing slowed. The panic in his eyes faded to something softer: relief. He leaned back against the SUV, exhausted, but alive. Just then, two men in suits came sprinting down the street toward them. Security, by the look of it. They shouted his name. One of them grabbed a radio. The other pulled out a phone and started calling 911. Paramedics were on their way. Tasha didn't wait. She stood up, dusted herself off, picked up her bag, and walked away. No one even asked her name, and she didn't offer it. She wasn't looking to be a hero. She was just doing what she hoped someone else would do for her mom or her little brother. If they ever needed help. By morning, she'd already moved on. Another school day, another shift at work, same routine. But the world had not moved on. Her phone buzzed with a text from her friend. "Girl, you're on the news." She thought it was a joke, until she saw the headline: "Mysterious teen saves billionaire from near-fatal asthma attack." There, in grainy security camera footage, was a still image of her, hoodie up, kneeling next to a man who, it turned out, was far from ordinary: Julian Cross. Tech mogul, billionaire, founder of Cross Tech Industries. A man whose face was usually seen in Forbes or on TV talking about global innovation. But last night, he'd nearly died, alone on a sidewalk, until a stranger saved him. In a press conference later that day, he spoke directly to the cameras. "To the young woman who saved my life, I don't know who you are, but I'm alive today because of you. And I want to find you, to thank you properly." Tasha didn't want to be found. She didn't want reporters at her door. She didn't want interviews or praise. She just wanted to study for her chemistry test. She told her mom what happened. Her mom stared at her in disbelief. "Do you understand who that man is?" she asked. "I didn't care who he was," Tasha replied. "He couldn't breathe." Over the next few days, the search continued. Julian Cross offered a reward for information. People claimed to be the mystery girl, but none of them were her. And then, someone recognized her. A classmate at school. They showed the footage to a teacher, then to the principal. Before long, the local news had a name, then an address. Within hours, her front porch was crowded with reporters. She stayed inside, overwhelmed, while her mother answered the door and turned people away. Then, one afternoon, a black SUV pulled up. Two men in suits stepped out, and behind them, Julian Cross. He came alone. No cameras, no press. He sat at their kitchen table, across from Tasha. No business suit, no rehearsed speech. Just quiet sincerity. "I've been trying to find you," he said. She nodded. "I know. I wanted to thank you," he said. "You saved my life, and I don't take that lightly." He pulled out a folder and placed it in front of her. Inside was a letter, on Crosstech letterhead, offering a full-ride scholarship to any college of her choice. Tuition, room and board, supplies, travel, the works, and below that, an invitation to intern at Crosstech. No strings. Just gratitude. Tasha stared at the paper, stunned. "Why?" she asked. He smiled. "Because you didn't ask for anything. You didn't even wait to be thanked. You saw a stranger in trouble, and you acted. That's the kind of person I want in my company. That's the kind of person the world needs more of." From that moment on, her life was never the same. She accepted the scholarship and chose Howard University. She majored in biomedical engineering, driven by a new passion to develop technologies that could help people in medical emergencies, like the one she'd witnessed. Every summer, she interned at Crosstech. She learned how the company operated. She sat in meetings, worked on prototypes, tested real-world applications. She soaked up everything like a sponge. By the time she graduated, Julian Cross didn't even interview her. He just handed her a job offer. 6 figures. Full benefits. A seat at the table. Years passed. She worked her way up, not because of her connection to him, but because she earned it. She brought solutions. She led teams. She created tech that saved lives, one of which was a wearable smart inhaler system that would go on to revolutionize asthma care in low-income communities. And then, the full circle moment came. Julian Cross retired. And at the company's global summit, he introduced his successor, not a board member, not a longtime executive, not someone with a famous last name, but the girl who had once saved his life on a dark sidewalk with nothing but quick thinking and a steady hand. Tasha Bryant took the stage that day as the new CEO of Crosstech. She stood in front of an audience of thousands, looked straight into the camera, and said, "The night I saved Julian Cross, I didn't know who he was. I just saw a man who needed help. I didn't expect anything. But what I learned is this: when you act out of kindness, without expectation, sometimes life gives back in ways you could never predict." And she was right. Tasha Bryant didn't become successful because she saved a billionaire. She became successful because she was already the kind of person who would. The world just happened to notice. And in noticing, it made room for her to shine. This is a story about fate, about choice, about what happens when you do the right thing, not for attention, not for gain, but because your heart tells you it's right. In a city where people pass each other every day without looking up. She stopped. She helped. And it changed her life forever. Because sometimes the difference between ordinary and extraordinary is simply one moment of courage.